everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio with another art journal page for our daily art journaling challenge all of October 2021. This is called hashtag AJOS Peculiar Persona. It's from the group Art Joy of Sharing, an art community on Facebook. And there are prompts. The prompts are names because this year we're doing characters. So that's all you do is make a character based on the prompt that gives you a hint of what this character might be, and you make it in your art journal every day. I'm making a video every day as well, which takes a little bit more time and effort, but I do want to support this idea of art journaling every day and trying to encourage people to do it. So when I make a video, it shows people what I did and maybe gives them, an idea or sparks creativity. So that's the whole process. So for my page today for day 18, the prompt was Jory Egocentric. And when I think of egocentric people, I think of Mean Girls. I do read a lot of books and watch some shows that are really supposed to be that the main audience is teenagers or young adults. And so I've seen lots of things or read lots of things about the social situations for kids and young adults. And I even remember it from when I was in high school and junior high and stuff like that, that there's always some differentiation between people that is 100% unpredictable, random, and just, who knows what causes it. But I was thinking of Mean Girls, ones who are the queen bees and they talk down to everyone else because they're the most special ones for some random reason that happened. And so that's the kind of people that I was drawing. There's not a lot of technique involved here in this video. I'm not teaching mixed media really. This is simply drawing, illustration, and then painting with Neocolor II water-soluble crayons. These are my favorite type of crayon stick, whatever, that's out there. I love these things. They're very highly pigmented. They are a bit waxy, and there's a few different ways that you can use them. My second favorite being the gel sticks, but gel sticks are fat and squishy and not so easily applied in a fine way, and so I tend to go for the crayons when I'm doing something like this. So the first thing I'm doing is drawing some girls on the pages. There's two of them, and the one on the right, I enjoyed how she came out. The one on the left, not so much. I adjusted a lot. I have a soft graphite in a Pentel. What is this one called? Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. Graph Gear, a Pentel Graph Gear 2000 pencil, and I purchased soft graphite to go in there. And so I'm using that to draw my characters. I'm trying to give them expression. I'm not the best illustrator in the world. My illustrations come out very childish most of the time, which I enjoy that style, so it doesn't really bother me, but I don't illustrate realistically very well. So what I was working on today in my art journal, and remember, art journals are for practice. They're for practice and for experimentation. If you were just doing the things in your art journal that you do best, you wouldn't really be learning anything. The idea is to work on stuff, right? It's kind of like a workbook. That's one reason to art journal. The other reason to art journal sometimes is to just get out emotions onto paper, and art can definitely do that for you. So that's another reason to do it. This is this is practice. I'm trying to give these characters expressions that is not just the front-facing portrait, you know, big-eyed girl that we all draw, that whimsical portrait style, which is so popular. So I'm looking at pictures as I'm doing this. I'm trying to get the proportions correct. I'm trying not to make the faces too long. What happens to me when I'm drawing portraits is I tend to have my whatever I'm drawing on flat on the desk, and so the angle is not right. It really should be up on an easel because then you're looking at it at the correct angle. When it's flat, the faces tend to turn out long and narrow because of the angle. It looks right from the angle, but then when you tilt it up, you realize that it's not. So I'm trying to work on that. I don't feel comfortable with an easel, and besides, how would I film if I was using an easel? The only way to do that is to do like the camera behind your head or something, and that just so I'm just trying to be aware of it. And the character on the left really did get a long face. Also, it's a 3/4 portrait, so it's partially turned, which is even more difficult, whereas the one on the right is a front-facing portrait, which is easier. I'm more proficient at that, but I did my best. I also made the one on the left have an open mouth, which is also difficult, surprisingly quite difficult to do. So the next thing I did is I started my colorization. So like I said, I'm using the Crayon d'Ache Neocolor II water soluble crayons, and I took the colors that I thought I might need and I scribbled them out on my palette paper. This is like a waxy paper that's used for paint palettes. And when you do that, you can pick it up off your paper and use it in that way. I also have some white gesso and water. I keep spraying some water on there, and I'm making kind of a loose, very loose white gesso mix to blend with. So then I use three or four colors, and I start with the darkest color and put that where I want my darkest shades to be, and then I move into the medium color and then the lightest color. Then I take, this is a flat brush, it's like maybe a 1/2 inch, maybe even, it might even be smaller than a 1/2 inch flat brush. So that means that it's straight across the top. And it is an acrylic brush used for acrylics. And I pick up some of that watery gesso mix to blend with, and it makes the blending smoother. I didn't treat this paper. This is the actual book. It's a Diane Reevely Dilutions Dialogue Journal, and it's got lines in it, you know, like for writing. And that's what I'm using. The paper is very similar to manila cardstock and not a heavyweight paper. So it's not exactly designed for watercolor. I want it to be able to not absorb the pigment as fast and to be able to blend easier. And that's the reason that I use the gesso mix to help blend with. Also, another good reason for it is that when you're blending in a little bit of that acrylic gesso, it makes the colors more permanent. So if I did want to do mixed media with this, maybe put something over the top, it wouldn't run as much. It would be more permanent, although probably not 100% permanent. So in the case of the background or the shirt that I've done, I put the color down really hard in the darkest part that I want, and then I'm blending it and taking that pigment, picking it up with the brush and moving it onto more parts of the paper. And I'm going back in more than once to intensify color in some places or to add a highlight in some places. Struggling with this mouth, this open mouth. It's as if she's talking. I was trying to, you know, she's saying something, but it's really actually quite tricky. This whole video is sped up 8 times fast because there was so much repetition that I didn't think that you would want to watch it for. I think the original when I put it to 4 times fast, that was 25 or 26 minutes, and I knew you wouldn't want to watch it for 26 minutes, so that's why I speeded it up some more. It's drawing and then it's coloring, but I do have a little bit of technique to teach you here with blending and blending out the color. So the first girl, I used colors that were a little bit deeper on her skin. She has more olive toned or darker skin. And then with the second girl, she's got a lot of yellowish tone to her skin. Perhaps she uses a tanning bed. I don't know. But her illustration is a lot better than the other one. That's just how it worked out. Front-facing portraits are so much easier than three-quarter portraits, or side-facing portraits are tricky too because you don't realize how the face looks on this side with the nose really coming out and the chin and forehead going back quite a ways. I struggle with that too. So, yeah, that's what I did. Also, her hair is more interesting than the one in the braid. She's a blonde hair, blue eyed Caucasian. This other one's got the darker eyes and the darker hair. Maybe Latino, maybe something, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, there's all kinds of mean girls. They're not they're not race specific or not even gender specific, really. There is egocentric, mean people on all types of people. And we all know someone, or more than someone, or remember someone from school that was kind of a bully. So I enjoy putting the crayon color right on to the paper and then blending it. I like that way of doing it. A lot of people will not do that. They will write, if they're going to color with it, they'll write onto the paper, their palette paper, and then pick it up and put it on like a paint, which you absolutely can do that. It's basically a watercolor in a stick with some additives to it. So yeah, you can do it either way. With the solid colors, I'm putting it in one area and then blending it out. With the skin and hair, I used 3 colors at a time or 4 colors at a time. And then I went back in and, changed them up a little bit. I'm also adding some highlights, just straight, the crayon straight, and I don't even blend it. So then I even do some of it with my fingers. Yeah, you can blend it with your fingers too. So the next thing I did was I got out some Prismacolor pencils and I just did a little bit of detailing with those. Not a lot, just adding in some illustration lines, but I didn't want to use black. So I'm using a darker color of what's already there from the pencils. And then I even do, at the end, add a little bit of white Posca pen, which is some acrylic, to add some highlights to the eyes and in a few places. And I think I used black Posca too, the fine tips. I think. We'll see when it comes up, right? If you've been enjoying this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you want to, you can leave a comment or question. You can subscribe, turn on your notification bells. All those things help the YouTube find my channel and help other people find it by your recommendation of liking or subscribing or commenting. So I appreciate those. Yep, there's the black. Okay, I did use the black Posca pen too, just on the eyes, I think, maybe. It gives a harsher line, so I think I was just adding some detail. So that's Jory Egocentric, and I do write the name in cursive and like kind of thicken the letters on one side. And then I also write Mean Girls down in the bottom just so that you know. But that's it for today. I'll see you here again tomorrow. Bye-bye.